So this session is to wake up in the morning. If you've got up in the morning and you feel so groggy and it's like, dragging yourself to your yoga mat, let's all drag ourselves to our yoga mats together. So come on, let's just give it a go. And remember, only do what you feel able. But if you feel really lazy, then maybe give it a little bit more oomph. Change some lighting. Okay, so starting, and let's just get those hips moving. Nice. So going round one way and then going around the other way. Lovely. Always good to get the hips moving. And then let's swing from side to side. Nice. Okay, good. And then let's lift one arm up and just go down a little. We're not going down a lot because we're beginning to warm up. Okay, so the other side. So go down past the knee if you can with the hand on the leg. Lovely, nice. And then opening and just rotating into that shoulder joint. You can do it either together like that or not together like this, bit like Egyptian dancing, I think. Yes. Okay, and then just some backstroke and forward. And you can really cross over and you feel your shoulder blades opening up, and already you'll feel a bit more awake. And then back. And if you can notice, I've got my right hand on top and then I've got my right hand underneath. Top, underneath, top, underneath, top, underneath. Good, shake out a moment. And then you can do this standing or you can do it kneeling, it's up to you, but I just want you to take your neck to one side and up and to the other side. So you'll feel these nice stretches and up and back and up. And then you can take one hand over and just be careful not to turn the neck as you do it, facing the front. That's it. And going over gently. Just feel that stretch. It's actually quite hard to tell if the face is beginning to tilt upwards. It's almost like you need a mirror to see that. So you've got this lovely stretch here, and then try and keep the opposite shoulder down. Breathing into it. Keep that shoulder down. Lovely. Other side. And again, keeping this opposite shoulder down. And just breathing into it. If anything, with the face facing forward, it feels a little bit like you're looking down, pointing it down. And we're doing it until we feel the stretch here. Okay. Lovely. Okay, back up. And then let's just pretend to be an owl looking all the way around. And I think you know the rationale behind this neck work. If we don't use the neck like this, it will only eventually be able to do the tiny amount of that we do in daily life, and we won't be able to look behind us easily and start seizing up or looking up very easily. So looking up and looking down. Looking up always makes me cough. And keep doing that a few times. Be careful, support the head at the back. Down. Okay, good. And then standing or kneeling, clasp the hands together, push the hands up. Okay, and then push the left side more, and then the right side more. So as you do this, hopefully you're lifting the rib cage higher and higher. Okay, away from the pelvis Lovely, creating this lovely gap for those internal organs that get all jumbled up in there, and they need some space. They need to be able to move around and get some real space in there. So lift a bit higher, so being pulled up by your hands. Back of the neck nice and long. Have a double chin if you like. Okay. And then breathing out, coming down to about halfway. And then take the hands forward. Okay, and then stretch out as though you are being pulled in both directions, dropping the shoulders. It's quite strong. Then hands down, palms down, and do the same. Strong. And then palms up and do the same. Strong. Lovely. And then just move the fingers, but they also get stiff and tight when we've been asleep. So move. So because it's the morning, I'm going to do a little bit more stronger work. So those of you who don't want to do strong work, you can adapt. And I'll try and give you adaptations as we go along. So I'm going to take my socks off and move my nice blanket rug. Socks coming off. And I'll just turn the sun heater off because it's probably making too much noise. There we go, just warming up my room. So here we are. We're on our mat, we're standing in the mountain pose. The feet are just underneath the hip joint here. So it should go hip joint, femur into socket here, knee, ankle, and then your ankles probably collapse inward or outward. You can tell that by the way your shoes wear out. If you collapse inwards, you've got them wearing out on the inner side of your heel. And if you collapse the ankle outwards, you've got them wearing out on the outside of the heel. So just adjusting that ankle joint and then lifting the crown as though there was a string here, lifting up, dropping the hands completely. We normally kind of hold them up unconsciously, just let the arms drop. Even weight through the feet. Toes, heels, ball of the foot, both sides of the feet. Lovely. And then separate the feet out. I'm going to do more stronger side stretches. So down we go into a fuller side stretch. Just breathing into that nicely. Feels a bit strenuous. If it feels too much, just hold on around the knee joint. Give yourself support through this lower arm. And stretch a bit more if you can. The idea is to take this top hand further and you'll feel this lovely stretch along the side here. Nice and long. And then breathing in, push with the lower hand, come up, release down, and of course we do the opposite side. So over we go. And again, extend as though you're trying to reach something. Keeping the top, the upper arm going past the ear if you can. If you wish to, you can look up through your elbow to the ceiling. And just keep seeing if you can do a little movement more without hurting yourself, obviously. And if you feel very, very stiff, pull back 30% or so. Okay, and then to come up, push through this lower arm, come up, extend out. Let's go into the star for a moment. So if 12 o'clock is straight ahead, I've got my right foot at about 2 o'clock and my left foot pointing to about 10 o'clock on the clock, and my arms out. And we call this the 6 limb pose because the head and the tailbone are included. And we imagine the energy radiating from this middle chakra, which is about 2 inches width there, below the belly button. So radiating out through those 6 limbs, dropping the shoulders comfortably, radiating out from the middle point. Okay, and then breathe in, join the hands together, bend the knees, but there is a big but here. Take the knees over your second toe, so they're not coming in like this as you bend. They're a hinge joint, and I like to protect them for good reason. So over they go. And if your knees are going to go over your toes, you need to go wider, because that can also put too much pressure on the front of the knee joint. So, okay. And then breathing out, bringing the hands to the heart, and just gently jogging a little. Check the knees. Everybody at this stage, the knees start to collapse inwards. Check the knees are actually going out. And if they're not going out, bring your feet in much more. So they're pointing at like 11:30 and midnight, and let the knees bend there. We just really want to keep that knee joint, that hinge joint, actually on the hinge and not doing weird things like that. Okay. So sorry, I'm leaving you in this horse stance. Put the hands onto the knees and then just go into sumo wrestler. You might be able to open out a little bit more. That's good. So it's like sitting on an imaginary stool. There's a lovely long open stretch in a thigh groin. Okay. And then see, without compromising that knee joint, if you can just move a little from side to side as you're in the pose, and then relaxing into the pose again. And then putting the insides of the hands onto the thighs and lowering the shoulders. Can you see my shoulders were up there? Now they're coming down. Okay, and I'm trying to be, it's difficult, almost impossible, I'm trying to lift the crown of the head upwards. If there's any pain anywhere in the knee, check your knee position. Pull back a little if necessary. Lovely, that was probably well enough. So straightening the legs and just letting the hands slide down to the ankles. We're in a gentle forward bend, okay, very gentle. If you need to, bend the knees. And if you want to, you can put blocks here and rest the hands on the blocks. So you don't have to have straight legs. And we're just doing a very gentle forward bend. And if you find forward bends really hard for some reason, what I suggest is you go actually more forward with the hands so that you're not constricting here in the torso, almost like an extended table pose. Okay. Now the trick actually with this wide angle forward bend is the wider your legs are apart, the further down you go. But that's quite stretchy on the adductor muscle. I always tell myself, don't be too ambitious because I might hurt myself. Okay. And then heel toe in if you were wide. Do a little bit more closer together, and then put the hands on the ankles, shins, or knees, wherever you feel comfortable. Still doing that forward bend. And because the forward bends are soothing and calming, and it's the morning and we want to enliven ourselves, we're going to bend the knees, put the hands on the knees, make sure the knees are going over the second toe. Go to torso parallel to the floor and coming up, open up. And let's do a back arch. So putting the hands into the lower back so that you're in the dimples of the sacroiliac joint. You know that joint here? You've got two dimples. So middle finger in there. And then I'd like you to gently arch back. So all the back arches are invigorating. And that's what we kind of need in the morning. Opening up, invigorating, more adrenaline running through the system. Energized. So opening the front throat chakra here, voice box, parathyroid, open stretch, heart chakra, open stretch. Lovely. Breathing into, I know it's hard to breathe in this position, but breathing into it. And then breathe out just slightly forward so that you could rub with fists the lower back area and rub up and down, okay? Stimulating the soft tissue in there, stimulating around the kidney area, more blood flow. That should feel rather good, hopefully. And then, for those of you who don't want to do strong, this is just about to get strong. Standing at the front of your mat. And pull it back, as I've got one student with me who wants to be able to see me. Can you see me there? Yeah. Okay, so standing at the front of the mat, breathe in, take the arms up, arch back, breathe out and come down. Okay, take the right foot back into starter position. Lovely. Okay, turn the foot slightly outwards at the back, pause, and then bring the foot inwards so that you're in a tram line, both feet facing the front. Up we go. Lovely, into quite a strong warrior. So those of you who find this sort of work too hard, you can have a chair here, and you've put your thigh over the chair. The back of the chair is here. You can hold on with one hand to the back of the chair, and yet you're still doing a modified, but still very helpful warrior pose. And then the arms out at shoulder level. Okay, now this is probably beginning to feel hard work. That back foot, you now turn it at an angle so you can turn into this classic warrior, looking along the length of the arm. Good. And then take this left hand down to the floor. Okay, and right hand up to the ceiling. So this one is going to be a little bit strenuous. It's very strenuous for me. Right hand down to the floor, left hand up. Lovely. Excellent. Breathe out and down. Both feet back into downward facing dog. Walk the feet a little. And then just seeing if you can push into it. If you slip on your mat, you can always grab the outsides of the mat to stop yourself slipping. Pushing the tailbone up to the heavens. And then knees to the floor. Coming down. Flat. And up into cobra. Lovely back arch, keeping the elbows tucked in. Open the front of the throat. So those of you who are used to my short videos, normally I don't go this strong. Tuck the toes under, back into downward facing dog. Lovely, and this time I'd like you to lift the left leg. Place it down, lift the right leg. Place it down, and then bend both knees and take the left foot to the front. Okay, back into the starter position, as though you're a runner starting. And then again, left hand down, right hand up. Woo, like so. Breathe out and down, right hand down. Again, you can put your hands on blocks or 2 blocks. And up. Okay, breathe out and down. And move this back foot, you can either jump it or walk it like so, up to the front foot. We're in a forward bend. Bend the knees as though you were squatting, hands on the knees, push and come up. So that was fairly strenuous. And I apologize for that. We're going to do the other side, taking the left leg back. And then we're going to stop the strenuous work. So those of you who are thinking, maybe not, maybe do some kneeling work or some back bends or some arm movements or long stretches like so while we just do the other side. So here we go, other side, breathe in, back bend, breathe out, down, breathe in, left foot back this time, looking forward, and then right hand on a block or 2 blocks on the floor, open up, lovely. Breathe out and down, again, you can place both hands on blocks and up, the other side, left hand on the floor, right hand up, looking up. Both hands down. And then place the right elbow on the knee. It helps you to come up so that you're coming up with both feet facing the front of your mat. And then you can go into warrior, facing forward. So the back foot is facing the same direction as the front foot, looking forward. And then arms out to the sides. That's where it starts to feel really strenuous. And then turn that back foot so it's at an angle here. You see it's turned from there to here. And then we go down into full warrior, remembering not to lean the torso, okay? Torso stays upright. And it's always useful to check the back hand because it's usually doing something funny around there. Breathing into that, you can tell if that foot is not in the right position as the knee will begin to hurt. So you might need to turn it some more. Okay, good. And then from there, turn again, bend, go down, and jog both feet back into downward facing dog. My mat is being rather slippy, so I'm holding on to both sides of it. Walk the feet in downward facing dog. I mean, I did say this was a morning session to wake up. It's certainly waking me up. Okay, pushing back into it. Lovely. And then plank, knees down, down to the floor. And you're in practice, you could rest there for a while. It's always a good idea. And then keeping the elbows tucked in, up into cobra. You don't have to go arms straight into cobra, just looking forward. Nice back arch again, stimulating into the kidney area, adrenals. Really helpful for waking up. Then tuck the toes under and we're back into downward facing dog. This time right leg up first. Keeping the pelvis level if you can. And down. And left leg up. And down. A little bit more walking steps. And then bend the knees to the floor. And bring your, where's the left leg back, left leg forward. Okay. Up. You've got choices here. You could do another side to side. So we could put the left hand on the floor or blocks. Open up. Whoa, without falling over. Opening up. And down. And opening up the other side. And the trouble with doing yoga quite on the breath like this, sort of in, out, and move, is that it does make us a bit unsteady. And it's best to do it if you really know the poses. Anyway, take that back foot and start to walk it or jump it forward until you're in a forward bend, relaxing on the knees, shins, ankles, feet, floor. Pausing there for a moment. We're probably breathing quite strongly. Hands on the knees, looking forward, coming up. Okay, when you get up, stretch right up and arch back, looking up to the heavens. And let's stay in that pose for a moment because that's really invigorating and energizing. Open the throat area. Breathe into it. Always, if it feels too much on your back, which might feel vulnerable, always put your hands in there to support the back. Okay. And then straightening right up. Breathe out. Come down and sweep the hands into Namaste at the front. So that was pretty vigorous. So I want to soothe the system down. So pause and breathe there for a moment, dropping the shoulders. And if you're comfortable, coming down to kneeling. If that's uncomfortable, coming down to sitting on a sofa, chair, or your bed. I'm going to come down to kneeling, but you don't have to. And I just want to do some soothing, quietening work. So heart pose here. Still the heart pose. So technically the forearms are parallel to each other and the shoulders are down. See those shoulders creeping up like that. The shoulders are down. Okay, so opening up, breathe in. Breathe out and down. Let's see if we can just enjoy this. Breathe in, opening the hands, receiving the love that is in the universe, all of it. And then sending it out to someone that you
they know needs to feel loved and cared for. And then breathing in, opening the heart and the palms as you go back, receiving gentleness, kindness, tenderness. And then from the palms, send out to the whole universe, all sentient beings, including yourself, as though you were wrapping the universe, not just our planet, the whole universe, in tenderness and kindness, filling it, filling it, filling it. And then palms upwards, we breathe in, up above the head, and breathing out, down to the heart. So we're going to do that again, because sometimes when we do a sequence, we're so thinking, what are we doing, that we lose the beauty and the sort of serenity and meditation of it. So breathe in, up we go. And breathe out. So breathing in, all that love that's going on in the world at the moment that they don't put on the front page of the newspapers, all that love and kindness from one human to another, from one sentient being to another, just breathing that in, letting it fill your hands and move into your heart. As though you were filling, you can almost see, you're filling, 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 filling until you're overflowing. And then joining the palms together and breathing out, sending, as though you become a conduit. So it's, you're still filling from the previous pose, and it's now pouring out your fingertips to all beings, including yourself. Or, if you wish, to one person. Okay, breathing in, opening and receiving again, right open across this heart area here, and the heart chakra, dropping the shoulders. And sometimes in this busy world of ours, we forget to be vulnerable enough to let kindness in. We're well defended. Okay, and then sending out from the palm to all sentient beings, to the planet, the universe, the great cosmos itself. Including yourself, remember. And then palms upwards, we breathe in and we seal, we enfold and seal that good energy. Breathing out, coming down to the heart. Okay, and just pausing there for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And then if you're sitting on a chair, palms go to the thighs. If you're kneeling, same. Comfortably just rolling the shoulders back. Pause, eyes closed for a moment. And then coming forward onto your tummy, we're just going to do the Sphinx pose, one of my favorite poses, where the legs are just going out behind you parallel and the hands are in front of you, forearms parallel on the floor. Okay, can't quite see me, so I'll tilt it down a bit. There we go. Like so. So forearms parallel, middle fingers parallel, bringing the crown of the head upwards. And then the pièce de résistance in this one is you push the pelvis into the floor. So you'll feel muscles around the lower back, pelvic area engage, and you continue to lift the crown of the head upwards. So if people get this wrong, it's usually because, if you can just watch for a moment, it's because their elbows are too far out and they haven't checked. And it's because their heads are too low down and they're not pushing through the pelvis. So just check. Lovely. And then the good bit is we're going to do the lying down bit just to absorb all the benefits. So from there, push with the hands to come up. That was a lovely back arch. So again, energizing. And we'll do a counter pose as we come down into our relaxation. The counter pose is just to hold the knees. So if you do a back arch, you tend to do some kind of forward. This is a forward. Just to check that the discs of the spine and the muscles and the ligaments go one way and they go the other. And then actually my feet are cold, so if you're lying down to relax, I would recommend putting on socks, and even if you have a blanket, putting on a blanket, not only for warmth, but a sense of taking good care of yourself, being kind to yourself, okay? Looking after yourself, not allowing yourself to get cold. And then the feet are about 2 to 3 feet apart, quite wide actually. You can move the toes outwards to either side. And oh, those shoulders, don't they just keep creeping up? So you can push on the head and actually move the top of your back down, shoulders down, and then open out those shoulder blades. And then release the hands down, chin to chest, if you can create a double or triple chin there. And do nothing, just let go, as though the body were melting into the ground. Melting, melting, melting. And there are several reasons why we do the corpse pose shavasana at the end of the class. One is because we need the deep relaxation, especially in our busy, busy lives. And if we stay in this for between 3, 6, 10 minutes, the body does actually eventually completely let go. And that's deeply nourishing and healing for the body. It means that it can actually work on mending cells instead of always being alert, ready to run, walk, move from A to B. The breathing also will quieten down, which is always very relaxing. And we can check our stress areas. Some people, they tighten the face or scrunch between the eyebrows. Just let the face relax and the jaw relax. Shoulders get heavy and go downwards. All of the body, in fact, let it feel really heavy. Let's imagine it like molten lead, just melting away into the ground. As though we were creating quite a deep imprint into the earth. It's become that heavy and we've let go that much. And then because I'm doing the video, I'm going to move and press the stop record. But you know, I'd strongly recommend, if you have time, to stay in this pose. Stay exactly where you are, especially if you're warm enough. And the amount of benefit you get from it, from being able to absorb the changes from the yoga that we've done properly, rather than start moving and dissipate all those benefits that are happening and trying to happen in the body. So that you can stay there and just listen to how I get out of it. The way to get out of it is to bend the knees and to roll over and push with your hands and come up. And I usually go put my hands in namaste at the end, just to seal the practice, giving thanks to all my teachers, the people who have trained me all over the years since I was 9 years old. And then thanking you, the students, and hoping you continue your practice.